Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Try to mix up morning and news together. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning. If you're watching this live on Facebook, appreciate that. If not, if you're watching the uploaded audio or video versions, we appreciate that too. For those of you who don't know what that is, we do upload these to our website, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. There are heavily edited audio versions and video versions there for your consumption at any time. If you can't catch these live shows in the morning, a reminder that we did cancel our afternoon show. It wasn't kind of catching the traction that we wanted, so we appreciate your patience with that. Also, we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. We are online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. We're also once a week in print. So appreciate you checking us out on those places. Let's get to your traffic. Heavy delays this morning, backed up from the 10-12 split all the way to Juban Road. You're going to be in traffic just about all day today. I do apologize for that. Kids are out of school. I guess everybody got on the interstate at once. Minor delays on 190. 4-H Club Road and River Road where they come together. That might be the best way to get into Baton Rouge right now. And minor delays on 64 heading into Central. It's currently 47 degrees. It got cold. It got cold quick. High of 75 today. Going to be staying in about this range. Tomorrow, high of 75, low of 60. Then some thunderstorms on Friday, which is going to put us at 68 degrees for a high, 55 for a low. 69 degrees on Saturday, 52 degrees for the LSU football game. So let's get into it. Yesterday there was a report on television about the Denham Springs Police Department and their pay. We had written, that would be the news, wrote a story over the summer discussing some of the aspects of that pay scale. Should be, there's a lot of interesting factors that go into this. One is, the Denham Springs Police Department has a large department, roughly 36 total employees. The other factor there is that it's a graduating pay scale, so it takes a while to ramp up, and especially if you are a non-certified officer. They didn't talk much about who this officer was. In speaking with the city yesterday and today, we've also learned that this particular individual at that level of health care opted for a family-wide plan and maxed out his family coverage, which is why that health insurance was so expensive. The city covers his health insurance, does not cover any of his supplemental or any of the, vision, dental, and that sort of thing. But he got health, vision, and dental for his entire family, maxed out on that health insurance plan. Also, the city is supplemented $500 per month per officer. That check did not reflect that particular pay raise. So normally there'd be $250 more in cash on top of that pay. So there was a lot of things that were not discussed within that paycheck. It's kind of a little misleading. It should be interesting how this situation turns out. Again, we mentioned in the story over the summer, the city has a budget, and one of the differences between, say, Denham Springs and Gonzales is that Gonzales has a ton of industry, a lot of tax base to pull from, so they have a larger budget. They also have a larger force. The interesting thing is that a statewide study done by Denham Springs, through the Louisiana Municipal Association, showed that firemen and police pay at the city of Denham is above the state median. Not by much, but it is above the state median. So not entirely sure if anything's going to occur. We know that there are people in the Denham Springs Police Department that want their union to be recognized by the city. The official stance by the city is that they do not recognize the union. They treat them like any of the other city employees. Still waiting for a definite response, but we will have some of those numbers for you in a story coming up as soon as I'm done with this show, trying to show folks what's going on there. Yesterday, it was announced that tomorrow, Thursday, October 24th, at 3 p.m., there will be a groundbreaking ceremony for Denham Springs Elementary. Should be quick, according to Superintendent Joe Murphy, because as he said, we're just ready. We're ready to get to work. We're ready to get started. The news will be out there. We'll be getting some pictures and covering that and seeing what these folks have to say, long time coming for this one. There's a lot of comments going on Facebook right now, especially on the story we posted yesterday, that show that, yes, the way the school system handles money is different. It may be a little complicated, but there is a sales tax that's dedicated to that, to the schools, and then each district has a chance to pass a millage. Live Oak has a millage, Denham has a millage, and Walker has a millage, and that's how they're getting these new buildings. They took that money, bonded out that revenue, and built these big new fancy buildings. What Denham's doing here is, this was a building that flooded, was declared substantially damaged, and had to be demolished. They didn't have a choice. So what the school board did was made lemonade out of lemons, and worked with FEMA to get the money, secure the money, and worked with several other school districts around the country to figure out exactly how they wanted to do this. It is going to be the only two-story school, not the only two-story school, the only two-story elementary in Livingston Parish. Blunt contractors will be doing the construction at a total bid of $16 million, and the target completion date, most recent, is March of 2021. So by the 2021-2022 school year, so 2 years from now, or a year and 10 months, they may be returning to classes there at the corner of Range and roughly about Centerville. But going back to what some of those other folks were discussing, there was a millage proposal, individual millage proposals in the Springfield district as well as the Albany district, trying to get money for new schools. They were shot down by the residents there in 2016. So if the folks in Denham, Walker, and Watson pay for those schools on property taxes. Those other folks but there's nobody hoarding money away from anybody else. So again, that groundbreaking will be Thursday, October 24th at 3 p.m. Expected completion date of March 2021. Will be the only two-story elementary school in the parish, and it's going to be Buddy Mincy Jr., Miss Jan Benton, folks from Alvin Fairburn, and superintendent, who was assistant superintendent at the time, Joe Murphy, traveled quite a few places to look at different schools and that kind of thing. So, trying to pull a lot of different ideas together here for Livingston Parish. So, again, Thursday, October 24th, 3 p.m. It's going to be that groundbreaking. An interesting development if you're an animal lover, HR 724, I want to make sure I get that correct, right, which is the PACT Act, which is an expansion of criminalizing animal crushing videos. If you don't know what they are, it's kind of like grinder pumps. It's just what it sounds like. People would make videos harming animals just to get views and to sell advertising. They criminalized that in 2010. They are now expanding that to any criminal or any adverse act intentional against an animal is now subject to a fine or prison term up to 7 years or both. Now, this had been introduced in January of 2010. It then sort of languished in committee, but it earned enough co-sponsors, over 300, to be put what's called the consensus calendar. If you don't know what the consensus calendar is, the easiest way to describe it is that for a bill to move through, it has to be introduced by a House member, then goes to committee. A lot of bills go to committee and never leave committee. A consensus calendar states that if it has over 290 co-sponsors on a bill, they can put it on a consensus calendar and just pull it out of committee and put it up on the floor for a vote. So again, a bill is introduced, it goes to committee. If it makes it out of committee, it then goes to the House floor for a vote. Then it has to go to the Senate and then be signed by the President. However, in this instance, if you use the consensus calendar, it skips that committee portion because it might get stuck in the process, may never come up. But if you have enough co-sponsors, you can get it put on the consensus calendar. So again, HR, if you want to go look it up at the exact language, it's HR 724. It's called the PACT Act, and it is criminalizing intentional harm done, and especially intentional harm done for publication of animals. So you can go check that out on Google. In terms of volleyball, which is what we had in action last night, Walker Lady Cats avenged an early season loss to Live Oak last night, and it's both teams remain in postseason play contention. Going to be duking it out in district over the next few weeks, trying to stay on track for that. Springfield volleyball lost to Pope John Paul, hoping to use that as a excuse me, I'm having a little trouble this morning. Hoping to use that as a learning tool and a springboard into the later later season play. Man, it's all messed up. At any rate, let's talk about Walker. So Walker had a Hall of Fame ceremony a few weeks ago, and they are celebrating their first Hall of Fame. I believe this is their first. No. It's not their first Hall of Fame class. Don't listen to me there. This is their second Hall of Fame class, not first, second. There were 5 former athletes who competed in basketball, baseball, football, track, and cross country, and they were inducted on October 10th. That would be Mike Dejon, the late John Dush, Shirley Sibley Dias, Shannon Montgomery Lowe, and Brian Thomas Sr. So congratulations to those folks. Mr. Kevin Fambro covered that event. If you want to check out that list, you can see it at www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. First United Methodist Church has been renovating quite a bit over the last few years. They are inviting the public for a rededication service for the church's renovation following a fire in 2008. So it's been, no one knew when, if ever, they'd get back in, and it was tough. But they finally got it all pulled back together, and First United Methodist Church will hold a reconsecration ceremony to dedicate its newly renovated sanctuary this Sunday, October 27th. So again, Sunday, October 27th, First United Methodist Church will hold a rededication ceremony for their new building. And please check that out. Again, it'll be in the early morning hours. Fragile Grounds co-author will visit the local book club, the Suburban Reviewers Club, on October 2nd, and actually has visited. So the meeting's guest speaker was Jessica Schexnayder, who, along with Mary Manheim, co-authored the book Fragile Grounds, Louisiana's Endangered Cemeteries. It is a very interesting book. There's a lot of old cemeteries in Louisiana, a lot of makeshift ones and tons of them are threatened by all sorts of things: coastal erosion, river erosion, heavy rains, development, all sorts of things threaten these old old cemeteries. So please, read the book, get involved. It's a pretty interesting topic. And there's also, a lot to talk about, and it kind of ties in with a lot of the themes of what's going on in Louisiana right now, with some rapid development in areas, trying to deal with drainage, trying to deal with coastal erosion. So a human element to that as well, even though you are talking about cemeteries. So one last time with your traffic, we're going to come back around on the traffic and weather for you before we wrap this up. Delays starting to ease up on I-12 westbound heading into Baton Rouge. Little clearance at Airline Highway, but then you run into delays at the 10-12 split. Traffic is backed up almost to Juban Road on 12 westbound. Recommend you use 190 if you haven't left yet. Minor traffic delays on 190 4H Club Road and River Road, where they come together there. Minor delays on 64 heading into Central. It's currently 47 degrees still. Let's make sure that is in fact correct. Yes, currently still 47 degrees. It's very chilly outside, but it is going to get up to 75 today with a low of 51 this upcoming night. It is 75 degrees tomorrow and 60 degrees is your low. Going to have some thunderstorms on Friday, which is going to bring in some cold weather for that LSU football game on Saturday with a high of 69 and a low of 52. Once again, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us on this hump day, Wednesday, October 23rd. Remember, if you can't catch these shows live, you can catch them online, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there. They are free. We are on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You can check us out there. to get that information. We are once a week in print. Again, hope you have a great day today. Please try to stay warm, and we will be back at you tomorrow morning.